Oh, is there an order?
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our read of Legally Blonde. Yay! So excited. So anyway, tonight we have a wonderful cast for you, and I totally spaced and did not send a cast list. So I'm just going to introduce people. And yeah, so we have Jessica, who's going to be our scene description. And then we have me and Elle. And let's see, we have Jarod, who's Warner. And Erik is Emmett. And let's see, Anne is Paulette. Travis is Donovan, who was Callahan in the original script. So, yeah. Mary is Sarah, aka Vivian. And let's see, I need to, Kevin, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Serena.
And Carina, go ahead.
Oh my God.
I'm Carina, I'm Brooke, Marko, and a hatful of other people.
All right. And then George, who is Dorky David and Enrique and the UPS guy.
Yes.
Yay! All right, so anyway, let's get started. Jessica?
Legally Blonde, Karen McCullough Lutz, and Kirsten Smith. Interior Delta Gamma House Day. Head over heels by the Go-Go's plays as we wind through a flock of abstract, silky, golden strands, pulling back to discover that the strands are hair on a blonde girl's head, but not just any blonde girl, a girl in Delta Gamma, the blondest, most beautiful sorority at USC. We pull back further to see that she's signing a handmade card. She holds it up. Over her shoulder, we see hearts and glitter surrounding and good luck tonight and Elle and Warner forever. She carries the card out of her room and we follow her across the hall into the room of 3 blonde cheerleaders who stop practicing their pom-pom routine to sign the card. As they finish, we follow the card girl out and into the room of a blonde girl in a tank top and shorts, working out on a Stairmaster as General Hospital plays on a tiny TV. She signs the card while continuing to exercise. We move on to the room of a blonde girl making out with her boyfriend, who stops long enough to sign the card as her boyfriend nibbles on her neck. She hands the card back and we head into the room of a blonde party girl who pours a pink frozen margarita into a glass from the blender, then passes it down to another blonde girl, assembly line style. The card goes on way, being signed as the drinks go to the other. Once the card arrives in the card girl's hands, we follow her out of the room and down the hall until she reaches the very last and biggest door. She puts a kiss mark on the card, then kneels down and slices the card under the door. Interior, Elle's Delta Gamma room, day, continuous. The card slides into the pink room, hitting the feet of Bruiser, a tiny chihuahua, who picks it up in his mouth and trots it over to a pair of perfectly pedicured feet in strappy sandals. An equally perfectly manicured hand with a Sisters Forever charm bracelet dangling from the wrist scoops up Bruiser. As he rises, we rise with him, passing toned, waxed, tanned legs in pink Prada pedal pushers and a pair of perky boobs encased in a spaghetti strap top until we finally reveal a magnificent head of long blonde hair and a sweet, beautiful face. This is Elle Woods, 21, the goddess queen of Delta Gamma. She talks on a pink fuzzy phone.
I love you too.
Behind her, a Go USC banner is pinned to the pink wall. A stack of cosmopolitans and glamorous teeters on the dressers. The closet overflows with trendy designer clothes and a predominance of pink.
I'll see you tonight.
She hangs up and lets out a squeal of joy, kissing Bruiser's head and taking the card out of his mouth. She reads it, touched.
Aww, Ellen Warner forever.
Bruiser yips. Interior Delta Gamma house, living room, day, same time. A Delta Gamma Sigma Chi barbecue in full swing. Beautiful college students drink beer and mingle, trying to figure out who they're going to sleep with next. The main wall of the living room has been designated as a model wall of Delta Gamma girls. Elle smiles at us from a Hawaiian Tropic ad and a Miss June USC calendar photo. A cover of an Italian Vogue shows a blonde sex pot Marko. A USC cheerleader poster displays a hard-body non-blonde Serena in a pom-pom pose. Serena walks up, bending off an admirer.
Jeremy, enough. I'm not going to a formal with you.
Jeremy slinks off as Margo arrives agitated.
Can someone please tell Rick that he's not the only Sigma Chi with a big penis?
So sweet.
Elle, a vision of fluffy blondness, runs down the stairs towards Serena and Margo holding the card.
But I'm not sure it's going to happen tonight.
Hello? He just had lunch with his grandmother. You know he got the rock.
I also would have flown from Newport. It's not like she FedExed a 6-carat diamond.
You think?
I can't believe you're getting engaged.
The three girls jump up and down, squealing and hugging.
Come on, you have to help me pick out the perfect outfit.
As they head toward the door, Elle spots Amy, a shy girl in a Delta Gamma pledge sweatshirt, standing alone.
Amy, what's wrong?
Don't really know anyone.
That's because you spend too much time in the library. Come with me. I'll meet you girls outside.
As they go, Elle leads Amy over to a group of jovial Sigma Chi brothers.
Brandon, Jason, Grant, this is Amy. Why don't you tell her about the time you guys went golfing naked?
Elle winks at Amy and heads off as the guys launch into their story.
It was classic. Jason hit Whitwood all day.
And we never ran out of balls.
Amy laughs. Interior, Sunset Plaza Boutique, day. Serena and Margo watch as Elle stands in front of a mirror, trying on a Herb Ledger white mini dress, sexy and ultra tight.
Too demure.
Should go with red. It's the color of confidence.
Well, I don't want to look like I knew what's coming.
I don't understand where you're completely disregarding your signature color.
She holds up a tiny pink slip dress.
He's proposing. I can't look like I would on any date. This is the date, the night I'll always remember. I want to look special, bridal, but not like I suspect anything.
Across the store, a saleswoman looks at her cohort.
There's nothing I love more than a dumb blonde with daddy's plastic.
She grabs a dress off the clearance sale rack, ripping off the half-price tag on Elle and the girls.
I can't wait to see you wearing the rock.
Elle looks at them, suddenly concerned.
What if, it's not the night?
Why else would be taking you to the Ivy? You've been dating for a year. It's not like he's trying to impress you.
Elle, you've heard the man pass gas in his sleep. That's practically means you're pre-engaged.
Saleswoman approaches with the dress, kiss sassy smile on her face.
Did you see this one? We just got it in yesterday.
Elle fingers the dress, then the new price tag, looking back at the saleswoman excited.
Is this a low viscosity rayon?
Yes, of course.
With a half loop top stitching on the hem?
Absolutely. It's one of a kind.
Elle hands the dress back to her, no longer pretending to be excited.
It's impossible to use a half loops top stitch on low viscosity rayon. It would snag the fabric. And you didn't just get this in because I remember it from the June issue of Vogue a year ago. So if you're trying to sell it to me at full price, you picked the wrong girl.
The saleswoman slinks off, embarrassed.
Nice try.
Elle shakes her head and turns back to the girls as she slips on her Manolo Blahnik sandals, doing one last mirror check, smoothing down her golden mane.
Girls, this is it. In a few hours, I'll be the future Mrs. Warner Huntington III.
Exterior, Delta Gamma House, night. An attractive male finger presses the doorbell. Interior, Delta Gamma House, foyer, night, same time. Amy peeks through the peephole and turns.
He's here.
Elle, suddenly standing nearby with Margo and Serena and several other DGs, smooths down her dress and takes a deep breath, opening the door to find Warner Huntington III, 21, tall, chiseled, and outrageously handsome. He takes her in, a smile spreading across his face.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
She looks up at him, blushing and completely smitten. They kiss. After a moment, Warner extracts himself.
You ready?
Her face is awash with devotion.
I'm so ready.
Exterior, the Ivy, night. Warner and Elle are seated at a cozy table on the patio. Elle takes a sip from her freshly poured champagne flute, nervous and excited.
Here's to us.
Warner is slower to sip his.
The reason I wanted to come here tonight was to discuss our future.
Elle is on the edge of her seat.
I'm fully amenable to that discussion.
I mean, we're having a lot of fun now, but things are going to be different when I'm at Harvard Law School. It's a completely different world. I need to be serious.
Of course.
My family expects a lot from me, and I expect a lot from me. I plan on running for office someday.
And I fully support that.
But the thing is, if I'm going to be a senator by the time I'm 30, I can't keep dicking around.
I completely agree.
That's why I think it's time for us to...
Elle takes a deep breath, filled with anticipation.
I think we should break up.
Elle's champagne glass drops from her hand and crashes onto the patio.
What?
Elle starts to flush, completely caught off guard.
I'm so sorry, Elle.
You're breaking up.
Proposing. Elle, if I'm going to be a politician, I need to marry a Jackie, not a Marilyn.
So you're blonde?
Well, that's not entirely...
Your boobs are too big.
No, boobs are fine.
Her tears start. Warner looks around the restaurant nervously.
I do love you, Elle. I just can't marry you. You have no idea what pressure I'm under. My family has 5 generations of senators. My brother's in the top 3 at Yale Law. He just got engaged to a Vanderbilt, for Christ's sakes.
Elle stares at him aghast, tears streaming down her face, then pushes her chair away from the table and walks out.
It's not like I have a choice, sweetheart.
He follows her out. Exterior street, night. Elle teeters down the sidewalk as best as she can in her 3-inch heels, sobbing. Warner pulls up alongside her in his convertible Saab.
Come on, let me take you home.
No.
Elle, it's 20 miles back to campus. You'll ruin your shoes.
Elle stops, thinks a minute, then gets in, still crying. Catching her poofy little purse in the door, she reopens it, yanking the purse back in. Warner pulls out. Exterior Delta Gamma House, USC night. Warner pulls up in front. It's a starry romantic night. Everything should be perfect. It's not. Elle sits, still in shock as tears continue to leak out.
Elle, believe me, I never expected to be doing this, but I think it's the right thing to do.
How can it be the right thing if we're not together?
I have to think about my future and what people expect from me.
So you're breaking up with me because you're afraid your family won't like me? Nobody likes me.
East Coast people are different.
Just because I'm not a Vanderbilt, all of a sudden I'm white trash? I grew up in Bel Air, Warner, across the street from Aaron Spelling. I think most people would agree that's way better than a Vanderbilt.
I told you, Elle, I need someone serious.
I'm seriously in love with you. Isn't that enough?
Sorry.
She gets out of the car and drags herself up the stairs to her sorority house. When she's at the top, she turns back to look at him, but he's already driven away. Interior Delta Gamma House, USC, night. Elle walks down the pink and green carpeted hall, dazed and tear-stained. Marko and Robbie emerge from the bathroom post-shower, getting ready for a night out.
Why are you back so soon?
Serena sees Elle's bare hand.
Did he forget the ring?
Elle silently walks into her room. Serena and Marko follow, worried. Interior, Elle's Delta Gamma room, night, continuous. Elle slumps down in an inflatable chair, hugging her knees and cowering in a wretched little ball. Bruiser stares at her, concerned. Serena and Marko stand at the door.
Elle?
Where's the rock?
We're not engaged. It's over.
What?
What?
He broke up with me.
Serena and Marko gasp in horror, rushing to her side.
Is it a Kappa?
It's not a theta.
No, it's just not me.
I'm canceling the mixer. We'll blacklist Sigma Chi.
Thank you, Serena, but I don't think it'll do any good.
What happened?
Elle starts to lose it again.
I don't know. Everything was normal at first, and then he said he needed someone more. Nice.
Serious? Who the hell does he think he is? You're the most popular month on the US.
She points to Elle's Miss June page hanging on the wall.
Oh, he is so over this on this campus.
I just don't understand what went wrong.
Maybe it's the grandmother. Have you even met her?
Last month on his birthday, and she liked me. She said I looked like a model. Why would you say we're just someone you like?
They shrug, mystified.
How could this happen?
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I just need to be by myself.
Are you sure?
Elle nods. The girls rise, hugging her.
We still love you. Sisters forever.
Thank you. I love you too.
As they go, Margo looks at Serena.
Oh God. What if Josh thinks I'm not serious enough?
Hello? You let him have anal sex with you.
Oh, you're right.
As the girls go, they shut the door behind them. Elle gets up and grabs a framed photo of Warner, then lies down on her bed, clutching it to her heart. Bruiser leaps up and gives her little doggy kisses. Exterior, Delta Gamma House, day. The sun rises on a sad day. Hopelessly Devoted by Olivia Newton-John plays. Interior, Delta Gamma House, hallway, day. Amy knocks on Elle's door.
Elle?
Another sister passes.
Did you hear?
She leads a reluctant Amy down the hall. Interior, Elle's Delta Gamma room, day. Spread out on the bed are pictures of Elle and Warner. The Sigma Chi formal, their homecoming queen and king wave. A 60s party, Mardi Gras night, beach weekend at Coronado. Next to the pictures are 30 dried Ecuadorian long-stem pink roses, remnants of their 1-year anniversary. In the center sits Elle, wearing Warner's old oversized Sigma Chi t-shirt, clutching a gun teddy bear, depressed and looking like hell. She speaks to an unseen confidant.
I just love him so much. I loved him the first moment I saw him. He's beautiful and smart and someone I totally respect. And I did everything I could to make him love me, but it wasn't enough. Now what am I supposed to do? I've let my whole future around him. My life was going to be all about Warner. Now what's it going to be about?
She looks up, waiting. Staring back at her is Bruiser, who sadly has no answers for her. Interior, Elle's Delta Gamma room, day. Elle remains in bed. Bruiser, now clutched to her chest, soaps on the TV.
Darling, I'll love you forever.
Bullshit!
Serena and Margo enter, bearing Jamba Juice.
Honey, stop. You have to leave this room. It's been a week.
So?
Serena sits down on the edge of the bed, trying to psych Elle up.
What's the thing that always makes us feel better, no matter what?
Nicholas?
Elle lets out a wail, realizing what she'll be missing. Serena shoots Margo a stern look.
No. The thing after that.
Interior, upscale manicure shop, day. A row of uniformed manicurists and their classy clients chattering away. Therapy in full session. Serena sits in front of her regular nail technician.
It was awful. We all thought she'd be the first to walk down the aisle, and now she's totally adrift.
The nail technician shakes her head in shared girl-powered angst, looking over at Elle, who sits in the waiting area, shell-shocked but showered. Elle picks up the only magazine left on the table, Town and Country. She wrinkles her nose. An old lady next to her reads 17. Elle looks at her, begrudging the access to teen beauty tips, and flips through Town and Country noisily until she freezes on the engagement section. She gasps.
Oh my God.
She takes a look at the photo of a horse-faced young woman standing next to 3 years older version of Warner. She turns to the old lady next to her.
Do you know who this is?
The old lady looks.
No.
It's Warner's older brother.
Who?
Elle continues, undaunted.
He just got engaged to this very unfortunate looking girl. 3rd year Yale law student Putnam Bowes Huntington III and his fiancee Lane Walker Vanderbilt. 1st year Yale law.
She turns to the old lady.
This is the type of girl Warner wants to marry. This is what I need to become to be serious.
The old lady looks at the picture.
But ugly?
Elle rushes out.
No.
Serena looks after her.
A law student.
So Elle rushes out. Serena looks after her.
Oh,
Turning back to her nail technician.
she'll never get him back with those cuticles.
Interior counselor's office day. Elle sits in front of her advisor.
Harvard Law School?
That's right.
But it's a top 3 school.
I have a 4.0.
Yes, but your major is fashion merchandising. Harvard won't be impressed that you ace history of Lycra. What are your backups?
I don't need backups. Harvard is the school I'm going to.
The advisor decides to humor her.
Well, then you'll need excellent recommendations from your professors, a heck of an admissions essay, and at least a 175 on your LSATs.
I once had to judge a Theta Chi tidy whitey contest. Trust me, I can handle anything.
Interior, Elle's Delta Gamma room day. Elle sits on the floor surrounded by piles of LSAT prep books, the framed photo of Warner and Bruiser. There's a knock at the door as Serena and Marko peek inside, gasping in horror at the sight of her books.
What are you doing?
Elle smiles brightly at them.
Reading about the LSATs.
Marko looks at Serena confused.
Hasn't had them. Apparently, you get a really bad rash on your...
The LSATs are an exam. Girls, I'm going to Harvard.
Wait, like on a vacay?
Let's all go. Road trip.
Wait, Cecil has a condo in Tahoe. Let's go there.
No, I'm going to Harvard Law School. I'm going to law school.
They look at
What?
her confused.
Why?
I mean, I know you're upset and all, but can't you just take a sedative?
Elle rolls her eyes at their naivete.
Once Warner sees me as a serious law student, he'll want me back. It's a completely brilliant plan.
But isn't it kind of hard to get into law school?
I have the highest GPA in Delta Gamma.
Marko pulls something off her wrist and hands it to Elle.
Here, you're gonna need this.
Your scrunchie?
My lucky scrunchie. It helped me pass Spanish.
Serena rolls her eyes and looks at Marko disapprovingly.
You passed Spanish because you gave Professor Montoya a hand job after the final.
Yeah, luckily.
A montage of the next 3 months begins with exterior woods Bel Air backyard day. On video, Elle sits in a jacuzzi in her bikini.
My name is Elle Woods, and for my admissions essay, I'd like to tell all of you at Harvard why I'm going to make an amazing lawyer.
Interior Kappa Sig living room night. The girls watch a horror movie with Kappa Sigs eating popcorn and drinking red wine. Off to the side, Elle reads an LSAT study guide. Interior Delta Gamma house, living room day. On video, a Delta Gamma chapter meeting takes place.
As president of my sorority, I'm skilled at commanding the attention of a room and discussing important issues.
Elle bangs a gavel as she sits in front of her sisters.
It has come to my attention that the maintenance staff is switching our toilet paper from Charmin to generic. All those opposed to chafing, say aye.
The sisters say aye in unison. Bruiser barks his approval. Interior classroom night. LSAT prep courses written on the board. Elle and 40 other law school hopefuls take notes furiously as practice questions are reviewed. Exterior woods backyard pool day. On video from above, we see Elle as she floats on a raft in her pool in a pink Versace bikini. She addresses the camera.
I'm able to recall hundreds of important details at the drop of a hat.
We reveal Marko on a raft beside her.
Elle, do you know what happened on Days of Our Lives yesterday?
Why, yes, Margo, I do. Once again, we join Hope in the search for her identity. As you know, she's been brainwashed by the evil Stefano.
Interior Delta Gamma house living room day. Elle takes a practice LSAT exam as Serena, Marko, and a few other Delta Gammas do their butt crunches in the Delta Gamma living room. Serena, while clenching her tush, sits on a stopwatch and Elle starts writing furiously. Marko is now on all fours doing donkey kicks as she grades Elle's practice exam. She writes 143 on top and holds it up to Elle. Elle slumps in frustration. Exterior beach, day. On video, Elle is rollerblading in shorts and a tank top.
And the laws and bylaws of civil obedience are crucial to my life.
Serena skates by and fake elbows Elle.
No shoving on the skate path. City Ordinance 22G.
Interior library study room night. Elle sits in front of Amy as Amy quizzes her with practice LSAT questions. Books are piled high around them. Elle gazes out the window to see Warner and some bare-chested fraternity boys carrying a keg across the quad. Her eyes light up and she looks at Amy pleadingly. Amy shakes her head no. Elle slumps, then rises and goes to the window, closing the shades and getting back to work. Exterior USC campus day. On video, Elle addresses the camera.
I feel confident using legal jargon in everyday life.
On video, Elle walks across campus with Bruiser in her purse, feigned staged innocence. A random frat boy pinches her butt. She slaps his hand dramatically.
I object.
Interior auditorium day. LSAT exam, sections 1 through 6 is scrawled on the chalkboard. Elle sits in an auditorium with about 90 other students. LSAT booklet open, filled with answers. Concentrating so hard she's practically getting a forehead wrinkle. Interior, Elle's Delta Gamma room day. On video, Elle speaks to the camera.
I've seen every episode of The Practice, and I'm even on speaking terms with Dylan McDermott.
Exterior, Dylan McDermott's house day. Dylan McDermott gets into his car and pulls out of his driveway. Videotaping madly, the girls follow in Elle's Boxster.
There he is!
Pull up next to him.
Elle swerves around to pull up next to Dylan McDermott. They scream at him as Serena videotapes.
Dylan, we love you!
Dylan McDermott burns rubber as he flees. Exterior USC campus day. On video, Elle jogs while she addresses the camera.
I'm totally focused and goal-oriented. Plus, I'm able to sway people with my very convincing arguments.
She turns to Serena, jogging next to her.
Calvin Klein's spring line is atrocious. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Delta Gamma house, foyer day. Amy rushes in with a stack of mail, waving an LSAT envelope as she calls it out.
It's here.
Elle rushes down the stairs as the other Delta Gammas gather around. Elle takes the envelope and says a quick prayer. She opens it and stares at it for a long moment, then turns it to the ground and raises it above her head in triumph. The girls immediately begin jumping up and down as group joy ensues. Bruiser yips with pride. The montage ends. Interior, Harvard Law Admissions Office day. On the TV, Elle stands up in the jacuzzi.
And that's why you should vote for me, Elle Woods, future lawyer for the class of 2003.
The video is paused as 3 admissions guys in their 40s sit at a table piled high with applications, the dean of admissions at the head of it. Stunned silence fills the room as they gape at the screen. Finally, one of them speaks.
That was certainly a very imaginative essay.
She does have a 4.0 from USC, and she got a 179 on her LSATs.
A fashion major.
Yeah, well, we've never had one before. Aren't we always looking for diversity?
Her list of extracurriculars is impressive.
The dean looks at her application.
She was in a Ricky Martin video.
Clearly, she's interested in music.
She also designed a line mix of faux fur panties for her sorority's charity project.
Then she's a friend to animals as well as a philanthropist.
I think it's obvious that she's a very well-rounded individual.
He points to Elle, freeze-framed in her bikini top on video on the TV. The admissions guys look to the dean. He folds, shrugs.
Elle Woods. Welcome to Harvard.
Exterior woods, backyard day. Elle's parents, Daniel in tennis clothes, and the face-lifted Sapphire stare at Elle over juice by the pool.
Law school.
Sapphire puts a hand to her throat in distress. Elle is confused.
It's a perfectly respectable place.
Sweetheart, you don't need law school. Law school's for people who are boring and ugly and serious. And you, Button, are none of those things.
Sapphire is in agreement. You were first runner-up in the Miss Hawaiian Tropic Contest. Why did you throw that all away?
Because this is what I want. I've worked hard for it. Don't you understand that this is important to me?
She looks at her uncompromising parents.
Going to Harvard is the only way I can get the love of my life back.
Sapphire looks at her, still not getting it. Can't you just suck his dick? Elle reacts to her mother's skewed logic. Exterior Harvard dorm day. Pale, studious law students clad in earth tones move into their dorm, carrying in their Spartan belongings, coffee markers, books, computers. In the distance, a happy pop song, perhaps Heaven Tonight by Hole, is heard. As it gets louder, heads turn to see a silver convertible Boxster driving up. Elle at the wheel, music blasting. A large moving van follows the Boxster. People lean out of their windows, buzzing with interest as Elle's car stops in front of the dorm. She hops out, scooping up Bruiser and looking every inch the LA Fred Segal glamour queen. As she looks around with a smile, Elle looks at Bruiser.
We're here.
She bends down to pour some Evian into his inflatable doggy dish, inadvertently revealing cleavage to a passing bespectacled boy several yards away. He trips, dropping his iMac. It shatters into a million pieces. Not noticing, Elle stands and turns to two movie guys who are hauling a pink faux fur love seat and a potted palm tree out of the truck. With the beauty queen smile in place, she strides into the dorm as the other students watch in amazement. Hanging out of the window, an arrogant Aaron, a Mensa geek with attitude, turns to his roommate.
Well, whose knob did she honk to get in here?
Day. Welcome to the students' class of 2003 banners hung over orientation tables manned by second-year law students. Two L's wearing red t-shirts. Club tables with banners that read Harvard Law Journal and Environmental Law Association are set up nearby. Elle takes a packet from the fuzzy Mel 2L.
A schedule, maps, book list.
Has Warner Huntington checked in yet?
No. Maybe you should try Lido Deck.
She frowns and starts to move on, but then looks through the packet with a frown and turns back.
Wait, my social events schedule is missing.
Your what?
You know, mixers, formals, beach trips.
There's a pizza welcome party in 20 minutes. Does that count?
I guess it'll have to.
The fuzzy guy looks at the red-shirted, bald 2L next to him as Elle walks off.
What the hell was that?
Malibu Barbie lives.
Exterior Harvard Law School outdoor garden day. Elle sits at the outdoor table, ignoring her slice of pizza. As she looks around for Warner, not finding him, she turns her attention to the group leader, a burned-out 2L in a red t-shirt.
Okay, welcome to law school. This is the part where we go around in a circle and everyone says a little bit about themselves. Let's start with you.
He gestures at a guy with glasses, Dorky David.
I have a master's in Russian literature, a PhD in biochemistry, and for the last 18 months, I've been deworming orphans in Somalia.
Awesome. How about you, Enid?
Enid, a militant feminista, looks up. PhD from Berkeley in women's studies, emphasis in the history of combat. And last year, I led the March for Lesbians against drunk driving.
Killer.
He looks at an intense guy in his late 20s, Ivan.
Got an MBA from Wharton, worked on Wall Street for 4 years, mushed in 3 Iditarods, and I figured out how to crash the stock market in Sri Lanka if any of you want to get together later.
Sweet. What about you?
He looks at Elle. She sits up straight.
Oh, me? I'm a Gemini. I have a bachelor's degree from USC, where I was a Sigma Chi sweetheart and president of Delta Gamma. And last year, I was homecoming queen.
She smiles as the group leader nods, waiting.
Oh. And 2 weeks ago, I saw Cameron Diaz at Fred Siegel and talked her out of buying a truly heinous Angora sweater. Whoever said orange is the new pink is seriously disturbed.
She looks around, pleased. Enid snickers as the rest of the group stares at Elle, dumbfounded. Interior, Elle's dorm room, day. A gray, dingy, cell block style room, now crammed with Elle's clothes, the pink fluffy love seat and potted palm, along with an elliptical cross trainer, pink flamingo party lights, and a neon pink margarita glass sculpture. Elle tries to shove a large law textbook into her tiny Prada backpack to no avail. She gives up and tosses the book onto the bed where Bruiser leaps away to miss being squashed.
Wish me luck, Bruiser. It's my first class as a serious law student.
She kisses him and looks down at her completely inappropriate skimpy Gucci outfit, which she accents by putting on trendy wire-rimmed glasses.
I totally look the part.
Interior, law school, hallway, day. Elle heads for a classroom amidst a crowd of students who eye her like she's an alien. She rounds a corner, seeing Warner in all his handsome glory, looking over his schedule. She starts toward him, as if pulled by a magnetic force. Arrogant Aaron sees her passing by.
Hello there.
Elle keeps going, not even noticing him. Eyes only for Warner. Arrogant Aaron stomps off, pissed at the perceived blow-off. As Elle gets closer to Warner, she opts for wandering past him, seemingly oblivious to his presence.
Elle?
Elle turns, ultra nonchalant.
Warner? Oh my God, I completely forgot you go here.
He looks at her, confused. People walk by, staring.
What are you talking about? You're not here to see me.
No, silly. I go here.
You go where?
Harvard. Law school.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
Warner stares at her, completely discombobulated. She smiles sweetly and makes a show of checking her watch.
Oops, time for class. Meet me after? On the benches?
Sure.
She sachets off with a confident smile. Interior, civil procedures class, day. Students file in and take their seats. Elle enters, looking around nervously at the imposing auditorium. Arrogant Aaron leans next to her, leans over.
If you're looking for the best seat, I hear the front row is the best place to be.
Elle smiles at him.
Thanks.
Interior, civil procedures class, day later. Professor Elpsith Stromwell, a tough as nails grand dame is in her 50s, addresses the class, laptops abound, except for Elle, who has a fuzzy pink notebook and a pen with a pink plastic heart on the end. A legal education means you will learn to speak in a new language. You will be taught to achieve insight into the world around you and to sharpen question what you know. Everyone soaks this up, including Elle. The seat you've picked is yours for the next 9 months of your life. Enjoy it. And those of you in the front row, beware. Elle in the front row, between two unshowered brainiacs, looks around panicked. One of the brainiacs passes her the seating chart and she has no choice but to sign her name. In the back, arrogant Aaron nudges his friend and smiles. The law is reason free from passion. Does anyone know who spoke those immortal words? Dorky David raises his hand. Yes?
Aristotle.
Professor Stromwell approaches him the way Cruella de Vil approaches a puppy. Are you sure?
Yes?
No. Would you be willing to stake your life on it?
I think so.
How about his life?
I don't know.
Well, I recommend knowing before speaking. The law leaves much room for interpretation, but very little for self-doubt. As she turns away, and you were right, it was Aristotle. The class half laughs in relief. I assume you've all read pages 1 through 48 and are now well versed in subject matter jurisdiction. Elle looks around, surprised, as students open their books. Who can tell us about Gordon versus Steele? Silent, Stromwell looks down at the seating chart. Ivan Greenstein? Intense Ivan straightens in his seat.
Gordon sued her doctors for malpractice.
And what did the dispute entail? Let's call on someone in the hot zone. Elle Woods? Elle looks up, distressed.
I wasn't aware we had an assignment.
Sarah Nottingham? Sarah Nottingham, a prim and preppy blue blood brunette dressed in pearls and a sweater set, looks up. Do you think it's acceptable that Miss Woods is unprepared? Sarah looks over at Elle. Elle gives her a mortified smile. Sarah turns back to Professor Stromwell.
No, I don't.
Would you support my decision to ask her to leave and return to class only when she is prepared?
Absolutely.
Elle can't believe that this girl would betray her. Having no choice, she gathers her purse and goes, completely humiliated. Professor Stromwell returns to the matter at hand. Now, Miss Nottingham, did diversity jurisdiction exist in this case? Exterior, law school quad, benches, days later. Emmett, a shy and quirky, handsome 28-year-old who could pass for a younger, sits on a bench going over some papers. He looks up and spots Elle, sitting across from him, looking humiliated and traumatized.
Are you okay?
Elle looks up, snapping out of her stupor.
Did they just put you on the spot like that? Like all the time?
The professors? Yeah, they tend to do that. Socratic method?
Well, if you don't know the answer, they just kick you out?
He smiles.
You have Stromwell.
Did she do that to you too?
No, but she made me cry once. Not in class. I waited till I got to my room. But yeah, she can pretty much shrivel your balls or, your whatevers.
Great.
Don't worry, it gets better. Who else do you have?
She looks at her schedule.
Donovan, Royalton, and Levinson.
Well, speak up in Donovan's class. He likes people with an opinion. Sit in the back for Royalton. He tends to spit when he talks about products liability.
Elle makes a face. He smiles, liking her.
And make sure you read the footnotes in Levinson's class. That's where all her exam questions come from.
Wow. I'm glad I met you.
She smiles at him, grateful.
Oh, and getting one of Stromwell's daily quotes right is almost as important as acing the midterm. But you didn't hear it from me.
Students trickle out of the building.
Are you a third year?
Warner walks up behind Emmett, interrupting.
Hey.
Elle looks up, pure adoration on her face.
Hi.
Emmett rises and walks off.
Wow. Good luck.
Thanks again for all your help.
Warner remains standing, still somewhat uncomfortable with her presence here.
So, how was your first class?
Fine, except for this horrible girl who made me look bad in front of my Civ Pro professor, but no biggie. You're here now. How was your summer?
He pats the bench beside her. He doesn't move.
Good. Good.
Do anything exciting?
A female hand snakes around Warner's chest from behind. Warner turns and brings the owner of the hand around to his side, presenting her.
Hey, have you met Sarah?
Sarah, the horrible girl herself, holds out her hand to Elle, full of contempt.
Hi, Sarah Nottingham.
You know her?
She's...
Sarah jumps in.
I'm his fiance.
Elle stares at her. Sarah tucks a piece of her mousy brown hair behind her ear, and there it is, the rock.
I'm sorry, I just hallucinated.
Sarah was my girlfriend at prep school. We got back together over the summer at my grandmother's birthday party.
Elle looks stricken. Sarah gives her a smug smile.
Warner told me all about you. You're famous at our club.
She says it in a way that is anything but flattering. In fact, it's completely condescending.
But he didn't tell me you'd be here.
I didn't know.
Elle looks from Warner to Sarah.
Excuse me.
She rushes off. Sarah watches her go, a smug grin on her face. Exterior street, interior, Elle's convertible Boxer day. Elle drives, wiping the tears from her face. She spots something off to the side and swerves her car toward it, a gasp of hope escaping her lips. Her car stops in front of a strip mall salon called Beauty Oasis. Interior, Beauty Oasis day. A downscale blue-collar salon with 5 hair chairs and 2 manicure stations. Old ladies and young waitresses getting perms. Paulette, early 40s, lower middle class, hard edge, plus size, looks up as a defeated Elle sinks into the manicure chair. The manicure station is plastered with pictures of Rufus, a big slobbering pit bull.
Bad day?
Elle holds out her hands. Paul dips them into a dish of soapy water.
You can't even imagine.
Spill.
I worked really hard to get into law school. I blew off spring break and Greek week to study for the LSATs. I completely neglected my homecoming queen duties. I hired a Coppola to direct my admissions video, also I could get my boyfriend Warner back. And now I'm engaged to this awful girl, Sarah. So it was all for nothing. I wish I'd never come to Harvard.
Paulette dries Elle's hands and begins filling.
After you went through all that trouble?
Well, what am I supposed to do? He's engaged. She's got the family 6 carat on her bony, unpolished finger.
You're asking the wrong girl. I'm with my guy 8 years, and then one day I met someone else, move out.
What did you do?
Oh, cried a lot, gained 20 pounds. Dewey kept the trailer and my precious baby Rufus. I got jack crap.
She looks at a picture of the pit bull.
I didn't even get to go to his birthday party.
No.
What could I do? He's a man who followed his pecker to greener pastures. I'm a middle-aged high school dropout with stretch marks and a film. I would say at least to women like me.
That's terrible.
So, what's the Sarah got that you don't? 3 tits.
She's from Connecticut. She belongs to his stupid country club.
Is she as pretty as you?
She could use some mascara and some serious highlights, but she's not completely unfortunate looking.
Hello, ladies.
Paulette looks up to see the UPS guy, a strapping hunk of a man in his late 30s. She blushes and smooths down her hair, knocking over a bottle of nail polish in the process, trying to play it off as she signs for the package.
See you later.
He goes. Paulette watches him. Elle notices.
Could I be any more goddamn spastic? So you're sure this Warner guy is like the one?
Definitely. I love him.
If a girl like you can't have a hold on her man, sure as hell isn't any hope for the rest of us. What are you waiting for? Steal the bastard back.
Interior dormitory, Warner's room day. Elle knocks on Warner's door, a bottle of wine and 2 glasses in hand.
Warner?
When she gets no answer, she writes a message on his memo board. Close on. Call me, love, you know who. She leaves the wine bottle and 2 glasses and goes. Exterior, Harvard Law Campus day. Elle is in her push-up bikini, reclining in her beach chair, pink frozen margarita in one hand, bruiser in the other, law book in her lap, pretending to study. We pull back to reveal that she's sitting on the sidelines of a touch football game that Warner is playing with a group of other ILs. Warner scores easily because the other male eyes are all on Elle. He shakes his head and throws up his hands in frustration. Interior, criminal law class day. Elle sits, glaring at Sarah, who keeps waving the rock in Elle's direction as she plays footsie with Warner. Professor Donovan, 40s, a big fan of himself, salt and pepper hair, no time for bullshit, stands before the class.
I should warn you that in addition to competing against each other for the top grade in this class, you'll also be competing for one of my firm's highly coveted 4 internship spots next year, where you'll get to assist on actual cases. Let the bloodbath begin. Now, let's commence with our usual torture.
He looks around.
Miss Woods.
Sarah and her bitchy clone-like friend Claire exchange knowing glances.
This should be amusing.
Would you rather have a client who committed a crime malum in si or malum?
Malum?
Malum, thank you. Or prohibidium?
Neither.
Why not?
So many reasons, but mainly because I'd rather have a client who's innocent.
Elle smiles, proud of her answer. The class snickers. Warner frowns.
Dare to dream, Miss Woods, Miss Nottingham. What would you prefer?
Malum prohibitum, because the client would have committed a regulatory infraction as opposed to a dangerous crime.
Elle raises her hand.
Yes, Miss Woods.
I changed my mind. I'd pick the dangerous one.
She looks pointedly at Sarah.
Because I'm not afraid of a challenge.
Sarah glares back at her. Warner looks between the two of them, worried. Interior study lounge day. The Harvard Public Interest Law Association meeting is underway. Warner listens intently. A few seats away, Elle appears to be taking notes. Close up, her notes, I'm free for dinner tonight. Meet me at the Cask and Flagon at 8. She folds the note and sticks it in Bruiser's mouth, then points him towards Warner. Humiliated but dutiful, Bruiser bounds off. Bruiser as he carries forth his mission, arriving at Warner's feet. Bruiser's POV, Warner discreetly takes the note from him, then looks over at Elle, who feigns interest in the meeting. Interior, Cask and Flagon restaurant, night. Elle waits for Warner, alone at a table, checking her watch to see if it's 8:45. She tries not to be sad. Interior, Harvard Law Library, day. Warner and his study group, Sarah and Claire included, sit at a table going over their outlines. Elle walks up to the table, holding a basket of muffins, bright smile on her face.
I'm here to join your study group. And look, I brought sustenance.
She holds up the muffins as the others look up, frowns all around.
Elle, what are you doing here?
Elle pulls up a chair from another table and holds up a muffin.
Who's first?
She sits down next to Warner.
Our group is full.
Oh, God, was this like an RSVP thing?
No, it's like a smart people thing. And like Sarah said, we're full.
Come on, we can make room for one more.
Sarah looks at Warner with evil eyes.
We've already assigned the outlines, and everyone has started theirs.
Besides, you wouldn't let the fat guy join.
He tried to watch me take a shower.
The answer is no.
Warner looks at Elle, feeling guilty. He shrugs and I'm sorry, but Elle's perkiness has gone. She gathers up her muffins and stands, clutching the basket to her chest as she goes.
Then I guess I'll leave you alone.
She walks away, completely deflated. Passing by the raging feminist study group, Enid calls out, "Maybe there's a sorority you could join instead." Elle stops and looks at her.
You know, if you'd come to a rush party, I would have at least been nice to you.
Is that before you voted against me and called me a dyke behind my back?
I don't use that word. Only mean people use that word. You must have heard it from Sarah.
She looks back at Warner's table and walks off. As she does, she's nearly mowed down by a gaggle of nerds led by Dorky David, who knocked the muffins out of her hands. She stands there even more depressed. Interior, Elle's dorm room, day later. Elle sinks down onto her bed, deflated. She picks up the phone and dials. Interior, bridal shop, day. Serena with a new hairdo and Marko are surrounded by wedding dresses. Marko talks on her cell phone. We have to cut.
It's Elle. Guess what I'm doing right this second?
Power yoga? What was that?
Josh just proposed.
What? No way.
Do you have the rock yet?
Almost.
Well, hurry up so you can come home. We miss you.
I miss you guys. The people here are so vile. Hardly anyone talks to me unless it's to say something that's not nice. Law school sucks.
Oh my God. I completely forgot to tell you.
What?
I got bangs.
Really?
Keep June 1st open. You're one of my bridesmaids. Give Warner our love.
I will.
Margot hangs up and Elle follows suit, even more deflated. Interior, Elle's room, hallway, day, same time. Sarah and Claire walk past Elle's room, the door of which is ajar.
It's not just any Halloween party. It's a come as your favorite defendant party.
That's genius.
Elle pops her head out of the room.
No way. Someone at the school is actually having a party?
Sarah and Claire turn around. Elle's face falls when she sees that it's them.
You must have heard us wrong.
Isn't that correct, Claire?
You must have heard us wrong.
Sorry. Looks like you'll be staying home tonight. Alone.
They continue on as Elle goes back to her room, snubbed. Interior, Elle's dorm room, continuous. Elle shuts the door behind her and looks at Bruiser.
I can't believe this. Not only do I not have Warner, but I'm unpopular.
The realization hits her hard. Bruiser barks. She looks at him.
But I wasn't invited.
He barks again.
You really think I should?
Exterior, off-campus house, porch, night. 2 feet in high heels and fishnet hose stride purposely up the sidewalk. A perfect butt wearing a bunny tail wiggles up the steps. Interior, off-campus house, night. A party filled with people who are no fun to party with. Name tags denote which famous defendant everyone is dressed as. Menendez, Tanya Harding's, and Budafuco's peppers the room. Elle, decked out in a Playboy bunny costume, looking sexy as hell, strides in. People roll their eyes and ignore her. Elle continues on. Nearby, Enid, dressed as Lizzie Borden, axe in hand, is in the midst of a tirade against some guy dressed like William Kennedy Smith. The English language is all about subliminal domination. Take the word semester. It's a perfect example of the school's discriminatory preference of semen to ovaries. That's why I'm petitioning to have next term be referred to as the winter ovester. The guy backs up in fright as Elle passes. Enid looks over. Hey, Elle, I've been meaning to ask you, are those real?
Enid, please. Silicone is so 90s.
She keeps walking. Interior, into the living room. At the bar, continuous. Sarah, dressed as Hester Prynne, and Claire as Joan of Arc, sip wine.
Thanks for inviting me, girls. This party is super fun.
They roll their eyes, checking out her bunny costume.
What was that, Sarah?
You're supposed to be dressed as a famous defendant.
Elle smiles at Sarah.
I am. Didn't you hear about the Playboy bunny who slit her ex-boyfriend's new fiance's throat with a broken wine glass? It was tragic.
She grabs a glass of wine and moves on as Sarah's smile drops. Exterior, off-campus house, back porch, night. Elle walks onto the back porch and finds Warner, dressed as OJ in a USC football uniform, numbered 32 with a ball and chain on his foot.
Hey, OJ.
Warner turns. He looks around for Sarah, not seeing her. He smiles at Elle, admiring her costume.
Wow, you're a walking felony.
You. Having fun?
Oh, now I am.
I feel like we've barely spent any time together since we got here.
That's because I spent all my time with case studies and hypos.
Tell me about it. I can't imagine doing all this and Donovan's internship next year.
Oh, come on. There's no way you'll get the grades to qualify for one of those spots. You're not smart enough.
She can't believe he's saying this. He realizes he's gone too far and backpedals.
I didn't mean...
Am I on glue? Or did I not get into the same law school you did, Warner?
Yeah, but
But what? We took the same LSAT. We take the same classes.
I just don't want to see you get your hopes up. You know how you get.
She stares at him, realizing the awful truth.
I'll never be good enough for you, will I?
When he doesn't answer, she walks back into the house. Interior off-campus house, kitchen, night, same time. A group of tipsy ILs standing around. One of them holds a salad bowl filled with cash. I give her 2 more weeks. She throws a 20 into the bowl.
2.5?
He throws in his 20 as well.
If she spreads her legs, maybe.
Only if I am feeling generous.
What is this?
They turn around to find Elle standing there.
We're betting on how much longer you're going to last.
What?
Look around, Ellie. Do you really think you belong here?
They all stare at her.
Why wouldn't I?
Because the rest of us provide some worthwhile value to society.
Hold on now. Every society needs a bimbo. Who are we supposed to sleep with after we get rich?
Elle looks like she's been slapped. The others slap at Eric's esteemed wit.
You know what? All of you can just kiss my bunny ass.
She yanks off her bunny tail and throws it at them. Hurt and anger in her eyes, then walks out of the room.
I'll show you how valuable Elle Woods can be.
She stomps out of the house. A girl-powered song starts to play as a montage begins. Interior Harvard bookstore night. A hot pink laptop is yanked off the shelf. Elle, still in her bunny suit, minus the tail, stands in line, paying for the laptop. People gape at her, but she's oblivious in her resolve. Emmett walks up behind her in line. He clears his throat, trying not to look at her costume. Elle turns, seeing him.
Don't ask.
Wasn't gonna.
She marches off, laptop in hand. Interior, Elle's dorm room, night. A ponytailed Elle types a brief, coffee next to her. Bruiser sleeps nearby, belly up, legs twitching in a nightmare. Typing furiously, Elle breaks a nail, then struggles to forge it on. The spider instinct to stop and repair it. Interior law school day. Elle, arms full of books, walks past the Warner-Sarah study group. Sarah and Claire scowl at her, but Elle passes with her head held high. Interior study lounge day. Enid is surrounded by study materials and note cards. When she gets up to use the ladies' room, Elle casually walks over and slips a note card into the middle of Enid's stack. Then she quickly walks on. Interior beauty oasis day. Paulette quizzes Elle from a law textbook as her nails dry. As she waits for Elle's answer, Paulette showers Bruiser with kisses, showing him pictures of Rufus. Interior criminal law class day. Donovan is in the midst of a lecture. He points at Elle.
And the purpose of diminished capacity, like the Titanic, is...
She swallows nervously, then speaks.
To negate mens rea?
Donovan nods affirmatively and continues. Elle hides a smile. Interior law library night. Elle reaches for a book on a high shelf, but she's not tall enough. She tries a running start and leaps for it, still missing it. From the left, she runs and leaps again, missing again. From the right, she runs and leaps again, missing again. Dorky David walks up and sets down a step stool at her, feet now winded. She smiles at her thanks, stepping up to retrieve her book. Interior study lounge day. Enid flips through her note cards, memorizing. When she comes upon a picture of a naked man, oh, the horror! She throws it down in disgust as if her eyes had been burned. Looking around, Enid sees Elle smiling and waving at her from across the room. Interior law library day. Elle walks past arrogant Aaron as he sleeps at a study cubicle, head back on the chair. She stops, backs up, and waves her hand over his face. When he doesn't stir, she takes a magic marker out of her knapsack and leans over to write something on his forehead. Interior, Elle's dorm room day. Elle works out on her elliptical cross trainer as she listens to a lecture tape and watches court TV on mute.
To act can constitute the actus reus, accomplished liability if the defendant has the legal duty to interfere, but fails to do so.
Interior law library day. Arrogant Aaron wakes up with a start, checks his watch, and rushes off to class, oblivious to his facial graffiti, which we can't yet read. Interior Civil Procedures class day. Professor Stromwell is in front of her class. So you filed a claim. Now what? She looks over to see Elle sitting there, typing on her laptop. Miss Woods?
Don't you also need to have evidence?
Meaning?
Meaning you need reasonable belief that your claim would have like evidentiary support.
And what kind of evidentiary support does this case require? Let's ask Mr. Harriman, who clearly believes that I might be hungry. She looks up at arrogant Aaron in the back row, who unknowingly has "Eat Me" written on his forehead. He looks back at her, confused, as the students around him snicker. Exterior Beauty Oasis night. A close sign is on the door. Through the window, we see Elle and Paulette seated in the empty salon, laughing and clinking cans of Babs Blue Ribbon as they toast Elle's small victory. We pull back, leaving them laughing as the montage ends. Interior Criminal Law class day. The state versus Latimer is written on the board. A ponytailed, less made-up Elle takes notes on her laptop as Warner makes an argument.
According to Swinney versus Newbert, Swinney, who is also a private sperm donor, was allowed visitation rights as long as he came to terms with the hours set forth by the parents. So, if we're sticking to past precedent, Mr. Latimer wasn't stalking. He was clearly within his rights to ask for visitation.
But Swinney was a one-time sperm donor. And in our case, the defendant was a habitual sperm donor who also happens to be harassing the parents in his quest for visitation.
But without this man's sperm, the child in question wouldn't exist.
He grins and looks around as the class murmurs their agreement.
Now you're thinking like a lawyer.
Emmett enters from the back, holding a file. He stands there quietly, watching. Elle tentatively raises her hand.
Miss Woods.
The idiot speaks.
Although Mr. Huntington makes an excellent point, I have to wonder if the defendant kept a thorough record of each sperm emission made throughout his life.
The class titters. Elle grows annoyed.
Why do you ask?
Elle's hesitancy is replaced by conviction.
Well, unless the defendant attempted to contact every single one-night stand to determine if a child resulted in those unions, then he has no parental claim whatsoever over this child. Why this sperm? Why now?
Emmett's mouth twitches into a smile.
For that matter, all masturbatory emissions where his sperm was clearly not seeking an egg could be termed reckless abandonment.
Warner's mouth hangs open, as does Sarah's and the rest of the class. Donovan smiles.
I believe you just won your case.
Elle grins. Interior Donovan's class later. As the students file out, Elle passes Donovan.
You did well today.
I did?
You're applying for my internship, aren't you?
I don't know.
You should. Do you have a resume?
I do.
She pulls out a resume out of her briefcase and hands it to him. He looks at it.
It's pink.
And scented. Gives it that extra little something, doesn't it? See you tomorrow.
She walks on. Emmett walks up, handing the file to Donovan.
Hey, I brought you the Windham notes.
You think she just woke up one morning and said, I think I'll go to law school today?
Aside from that lapse in judgment, she's got potential.
Interior, Elle's car day. Elle drives, Paulette and shotgun.
You showed up in class? You're supposed to be showing up Sarah.
I couldn't help it. It was the most fun I've had since I've been in law school. I wasn't just good enough for Warner. I was better than him. Even Donovan was impressed, and he's a total hard ass.
Elle stops the car and turns off the ignition.
You ready?
No.
Yes, you are. Go. You can do this.
She points ahead of them. Paulette goes. Exterior, Dewey's trailer, day. The door opens. Dewey, 40s, and his beer gut emerge. Paulette is on the porch, trying to exude confidence, but failing.
What the hell do you want? We're eating dinner. You just thought you'd come over and show me what I'm definitely not missing.
Interior, Elle's car, day, same time. She watches, frowning. Exterior, Dewey's trailer, day, continuous. Dewey's really having fun now.
What the hell happened to you? You get a job at a donut shop?
That's not what.
How many times are you gonna show up here begging me to take you back?
Paulette rettens, flustered and humiliated. Elle appears next to her.
Dewey Newcomb?
Who's asking?
I'm Elle Woods, Miss Bonafonte's attorney.
Paulette looks at Elle in surprise. Elle keeps going.
Under state law, you and Ms. Bonafonte had a common law marriage, which entitles her to the benefits of property law and an equitable division of assets.
Come again?
Due to the fact that you retained the residence, Ms. Bonafonte is entitled to full ownership of the canine property in question and will be enforcing said ownership immediately.
Huh?
Tell him, Paulette.
A still stunned Paulette looks at Elle, then looks to Dewey, fire in her ass.
Taking the dog, dumbass. Come here, baby. Mama's here.
Rufus bounds out, licking Paulette, the love evident. Interior, exterior, Elle's car a moment later. Elle, Paulette, and Rufus get in.
We did it!
Elle high fives her.
Oh, God, that felt great. Ow!
Look at him. He's still scratching his head.
Which must be a nice vacation for his balls.
She turns to Rufus, hugging him.
And now Mommy's got somebody to eat dinner with again. Yeah, you don't care what Mommy's butt looks like, do you? No, thank you.
Elle looks over at Paulette, heart going out to her. Interior, civil procedures class, day. Elle turns on her power book as Professor Stromwell faces the class with her morning quote. An image and a good hook can get you into a room, but something has to keep you in that room. She looks around as hands are raised. Mr. Greenstein?
Judge Sandra Day O'Connor.
Close. Intense Ivan's face falls. She looks around, seeing Elle raise her hand. Miss Woods?
Madonna?
The class rolls their eyes and laughs, watching Stromwell. Damn, thought I'd get everyone on that one. The class can't believe Elle is right. Exterior criminal law class, hallway, day. A throng of buzzing students is gathered around the bulletin board. Elle walks up.
What's going on?
Donovan's firm is defending a major murder case, and his caseload is so heavy he's taking on first-year interns.
He chose them already?
Sarah at the front of the throng gasps, then turns to Warner. We got it! He grins and she kisses him on the cheek. Elle, shoved to the back, tries to get closer when she hears. Competition must not have been that stiff. Arrogant Aaron pushes his way to the board.
Oh, why didn't I get a spot?
Watch it, grab ass.
That only leaves one for.
Elle, now next to him, finally gets a look at the board.
Missy!
Everyone reacts. She turns and faces the throng, and they stare back at her in shock. Dignified, she walks through them as they part for her, stopping in front of Warner and Sarah.
Warner, you remember the time after winter formal when we spent 4 incredible hours in the hot tub?
Sarah's mouth falls open as Warner stammers to try and come up with an answer.
This is so much better. than that. Excuse me, I have some shopping to do.
Warner stares after her as Sarah glares at him.
4 hours?
Interior, Saks, Women's Department, day. Elle scans the racks of conservative clothes. She holds up a cashmere twin set and wrinkles her nose, but throws it over her arm anyway. Interior, Nordstrom's, handbags, days later. Elle admires a trendy handbag, but then promptly steps it down and picks up a practical leather briefcase. Interior, Austin, Platt, Jarod, and Donovan, lobby, day. The elevator door opens and Warner and Elle emerge. Elle is sporting her new boring lawyer clothes. Warner is baffled and impressed by her transformation.
You look nice.
You.
She gives him an aloof smile and walks off. Warner watches her go. Sarah stands in the lobby, none too happy to witness this. Interior, Austin, Platt, Jarod, and Donovan, day, moments later. Donovan strides through the office, his 4 interns behind him. He points as he walks.
There's your office, there's the bathroom, there's the coffee machine, and there's Jarod, Dick, and Bobby.
Jarod, smarmy and trim, Dick, short and bald, and Bobby, black and bespectacled, wave as the interns pass by.
They're the other associates on the case. Ask them all your stupid questions, save the smart ones for me.
Interior, Austin, Jarrett, Platt, and Donovan, conference room. Professor Donovan opens his briefcase as Elle, Sarah, Enid, and Warner hang on his every word.
We're defending Brooke Windham, whose very wealthy husband was found shot to death in their Beacon Hill mansion.
Gold digger?
You'd think so, since the stiff was 60, but she was rich on her own. Some kind of fitness empire. You can buy your exercise tapes on infomercials.
Elle frowns.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about Brooke Daniels?
Donovan checks his papers.
Madam name...
Maiden?
Maiden name Daniels. Thank you. You know her? Because I don't.
She was a Delta Gamma. Not in my pledge class or anything. She graduated 5 years ahead of me. I used to take her class at the LA Sports Club. She's amazing.
The others look at each other and roll their eyes.
Amazing how?
She can make you drop like 3 pounds in one class. She's completely gifted.
Well, in all likelihood, she's completely guilty as well. She was seen standing over her husband's dead body.
By who?
Whom?
His 27-year-old daughter and the pool boy.
Maybe she found him like that.
That's the story she'll be telling the jury. We just have to prove it.
Emmett walks in and sits.
Sorry I'm late.
Elle looks at him, confused.
This is Emmett Kerrigan, another associate, top 3 in his class, and former editor of Harvard Law Review. You've probably seen him lurking around campus doing my research.
Or napping on the quad.
Elle smiles at him. He smiles back, almost shy.
What about the murder weapon?
The gun is missing. The coroner said he'd be dead 30 minutes when the cops arrived, giving Brooke plenty of time to stash it.
There's no way Brooke could have done this. Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make people happy. Happy people just don't kill their husbands.
Sarah and Enid snort.
You don't really believe she's innocent?
Of course I do.
Emmett looks at her.
Then we may actually have a case.
He looks over at Donovan, who's not so sure. Exterior, Boston jail, day, gray and imposing. Interior, Boston jail, day. Donovan sits at a long table next to Brooke, a pretty 26-year-old blonde with a perfect body and a sad face. The interns and associates sit at the far end of the table taking notes. A cop stands guard at the door.
What alibi?
I can't tell you.
You understand you're on trial for murder.
I didn't do it. I walked in, saw my husband laying on the floor, bent down to check his heart, screamed my head off, and Chutney and Enrique ran inside.
Where they saw you standing over the body covered in his blood?
She glares at him.
Why would I kill my husband?
Insurance, a love affair, pure unadulterated hatred. Believe me, the DA will come up with plenty of reasons.
I loved him.
He was 34 years older than you. That doesn't sound so good to a jury.
And show him a picture of his dick. They might put a few things together.
Everyone stiffens except for Elle, who laughs out loud.
Brooke, I believe you, but a jury is going to want an alibi.
I can't give you that. And if you put me on the stand, I'll lie.
Donovan takes a moment to look at her like she's an idiot.
Were you with another man?
Go to hell.
I'll take that as a no.
Are we done for today?
I believe we are.
He stands, as do his minions, as they file out. Brooke sees Elle.
Hey, I know you.
I'm a Delta Gamma, and I'm a huge fan of yours.
You took my class in LA. You had the best high kick I've ever seen. Are you one of my lawyers?
Sort of.
Brooke looks at Elle as if she's her savior.
Well, thank God one of you has a brain.
Interior beauty oasis day. Rufus sleeps happily on the floor. Elle sits in front of Paulette, nails in the soapy water.
I feel so bad for her. I mean, she's in jail and she's innocent, but I'm the only one who believes her. Donovan totally thinks she's guilty.
That's because men are big fat idiots who don't. Oh my God.
On the door, the UPS guy stands in the doorway with a package, sun streaming in around him.
Afternoon, ladies.
On Elle and Paulette.
It's him.
Paulette smooths down her hair.
It's who?
She turns to look as we do to butt cam. Close up on the crisp brown shorts of a regular UPS uniform as they stretch across the taut, muscular buttocks of UPS guy as he strides through the shop. When the butt stops moving, we widen to reveal the UPS guy now standing in front of Elle and Paulette.
I've got a package.
Elle turns to Paulette, eyes wide.
He's got a package.
Paulette is frozen, blushing and nervous.
How you doing today?
He waits for her to sign. She remains frozen. Elle takes the pen and signs for her, trying to help. UPS guy smiles kindly at Paulette and heads out.
Take it easy.
Paulette watches him go, hand over her heart. Elle looks at her, concerned.
So, is this the only interaction you two have ever had?
No. Sometimes I say, okay, instead of fine.
Have you ever considered asking him if he'd like a cold beverage or perhaps a neck massage?
Oh, what's the point? Look at me.
I am, and I'm looking at a beautiful, fabulous, sexy woman.
Good one.
Trust me, you've got all the equipment. You just need to read the manual.
Elle stands.
I'm going to show you a little maneuver my mother taught me when I was in junior high. In my experience, it has a 98% success rate in getting a man's attention, and when used appropriately, an 83% rate of return on a dinner invitation.
The hairstylist and clients listen, intrigued.
It's called the bend and snap. Oh, look, there's something on the floor I need to pick up. Bend.
She slowly bends down as if to pick up something, sticking out her tush, knee cocked. She slides her hand down her cocked leg until her hand touches the floor and she snaps back up, boobs a-bouncing.
And snap. There, you try.
Paulette stands up, repeating the maneuver. It's a spastic version of what Elle just did.
Good. Now, this time, maybe put a little arch in your back and get your footing more solid.
Paulette does it again, this time getting it right.
Perfect.
A hair client walks over, head full of curlers.
Like this?
She tries.
Good.
She adjusts her like a yoga instructor would.
But cock the knee.
Another client calls over.
Am I doing it right?
Elle walks over to her.
Oh.
No, not at all, honey. But more snap, less bend.
She turns to the rest of the clients.
Come on, everyone try.
Clients hop up out of their chairs as someone reaches over and cranks the transistor radio blaring Brick House by the Commodores. All the clients and technicians, no matter what their age or how many foils are in their hair, are up and doing the bend and snap, repeating the mantra as they do. Elle walks around them, continuing to adjust them.
Now, everyone together.
They all bend in unison, going down on Brick.
Bend?
And snapping back up on House.
And snap.
The frivolity continues as the room full of ladies perfect the maneuver. Maurice, a male hairdresser, comes out of the back room, mixing a bowl of bleach as he walks. He stops when he spots the activity.
Oh my god, the bend and snap works every time.
Interior Austin Platt, Jarod, and Donovan conference room day. Chutney, 27, curly-haired and bitter, sits in front of Donovan, the female DA, the associates, the interns, and the court reporter as she's interviewed. I got out of the shower, walked downstairs, and saw her standing over my father and called the police.
Did she have a weapon in her hand?
No.
Was there any reason for you to believe she had discarded a weapon?
Yeah, the bitch shot him.
Was there any evidence that Mrs. Windham shot him?
Duh, his dead body with a bullet in it.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
Interior Austin Platt, Jarod and Donovan conference room later. Enrique, 25, Latino and hunky as hell, sits in the seat that Chutney has vacated.
What did you see when you entered the house?
I saw Mrs. Windham standing over the body of Mr. Windham.
Was she carrying a weapon?
No, she was crying her eyes out.
So she was distraught that her husband was dead.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Windham is the most sweet, wonderful woman I know. I have loved her since the day she hired me. She could never do something this awful. I know this because we are very close.
The others shift uncomfortably, then look at each other, then back at Enrique and his shiny unbuttoned to show his pec shirt. The DA smiles. Interior steakhouse night. Donovan, the interns and associates sit at a large table.
He's screwing the pool boy.
Elle gasps and makes a face.
There's no way a Delta Gamma would sleep with a man in a shiny shirt. Warner, back me up here.
Warner shrugs, embarrassed. Sarah looks at Donovan.
I hate to agree, but I don't see the two of them actually doing it.
Women like that will screw anything.
Oh, so because she's beautiful and has a good body, she's easy? What book of feminist theory did you read that in, Enid?
Emmett jumps in before war breaks out.
Okay, if Brooke didn't kill the guy, who did?
My money is on the angry daughter or the ex-wife.
Chutney has a trust fund. She didn't need the insurance payoff or the inheritance. Or the inheritance, for short.
Uh-oh, what about her mother?
Covered. She was in Aspen at the time. 10 people saw her downing cosmopolitans at the Caribou Club.
All I know is it's not Brooke.
That's touching alley, but we need an alibi.
Elle thinks about this. Interior, Boston jail, lobby, day. A nervous Elle stands in front of the burly check-in guard. She holds a basket of goodies.
I'm here to see Brooke Windham.
Licensed attorney or family member?
Family.
Relation?
I'm her sister.
Name?
Delta. Gamma.
He makes a note and buzzes her in. Interior, Boston jail, day. Elle sits at a conference table with her basket. A door opens and a female guard brings Brooke into the room, wearing a horribly tacky orange jumpsuit.
Are you okay? You look so sad and so orange.
I'm glad it's you and not Donovan.
He means well. He's really brilliant and all.
He better be for what I'm paying him.
I brought you some necessities. Pink sheets, aromatherapy candles, loofah, and the Bible.
She holds up a cosmopolitan.
You're an angel.
But I have to tell you the real reason I'm here. Professor Donovan says we really, really need your alibi.
Oh, I can't. You don't understand.
Who could better understand than me?
Brooke dabs her eyes with the corner of the pink Ralph Lauren sheets.
It's so shameful.
Whatever it is, it could save you.
That's just it. It will ruin me.
How?
Brooke composes herself, takes a deep breath, looks at Elle.
I have made my fortune on my ability to teach women how to perfect their bodies with Brooke's butt buster workout.
I know. You helped me go from a 6 to a 4.
Brooke starts to cry again.
Hey, but on the day of Hayward's murder, I was...
What?
Liposuction!
No.
We're gonna have this kind of thing. I've already lost my husband. I'd rather be in jail than lose my reputation.
Your secret is safe with me.
Interior, Austin Platt, Jarod and Donovan, library, day. The associates and interns sit at a table piled high with research as Donovan goes over his notes.
We got 2 interviews tomorrow that Dick and Bobby are going to handle, and the ex-wife in an hour. Sarah, can you grab me some coffee?
Sarah rises and fetches the coffee from the side table.
And according to this communique from the prison, our client, oh yes, from the prison, our client apparently had a visit from her sister, a Miss Delta Gamma. Anyone you know?
Elle looks up, caught. The other looks at her.
I went to get her alibi.
Emmett looks over, surprised.
Did you get it?
Yes, but I can't tell you what it is.
Why the hell not?
I promised her I'd keep it a secret. I can't break the bonds of sisterhood.
Fuck sisterhood. This is a murder trial, not some scandal at the sorority house. I want the alibi.
Sarah sets Donovan's coffee down, watching to see what Elle will do.
I can't give it to you. All I can tell you is that she's innocent.
An assistant pokes her head in the room.
Mr. Donovan, Miss Windham Vandermark is online too.
Donovan rises, still annoyed.
Someone reason with her while I take these.
He walks out. The others look at Elle.
Are you crazy? Tell him the alibi.
No.
Okay. We're gonna lose the case if you don't.
Then we're not very good lawyers.
Emmett hides a smile. Warner leans over to Elle. Sarah is nearby listening.
If you tell him, you'll probably make Summer associate. Who cares about Brooke? Think about yourself.
I gave her my word, Warner.
Sarah watches, seeing both Warner and Elle in a different light. Donovan storms back in.
The ex-wife seems to be unconcerned with the fact that her interview is today. She's at a spa in the Berkshires.
A spa? Isn't that like your mothership?
Elle shrugs and looks at Donovan.
I can go if you want.
Why you?
Have you ever been to a spa?
And subscribe to the doctrine of self-hatred imposed upon my gender by male delusions of the way women are supposed to look. Twice. Donovan motions towards Elle, then looks at Emmett with a pointed get the alibi look.
Go with her.
Interior, Emmett's Volvo, day. Emmett drives. Elle is his shotgun.
Explain to me why you're so anti-Brooke.
For starters, she won't give us an alibi.
Aside from that.
She's completely untrustworthy.
Why?
Well, she married an old man. She made a living on telling women they're fat and hawks her crap on the Home Shopping Network.
Okay, A, he's an old man with a really big dick. B, Brooke would never tell anyone they're fat. And C, Victoria Principal sells on that network.
And D, Brooke is obviously hiding something.
But maybe it's not what you think.
But maybe it's exactly what I think.
You're
They're
kind of
quiet
being
for
a
a moment.
butthead right now.
Butthead? How do you figure?
Well, because people aren't always what they seem to be, and you refuse to see that. Have a little faith. You might be surprised.
They're quiet again while he thinks about this. He looks over at her.
I can't believe he called me a butthead. No one's ever called me a butthead since 9th grade.
Maybe not to your face.
She gives him a teasing smile. He smiles back at her, shaking his head. Interior, spa, lobby, day. Elle and Emmett are at the desk.
We have 2 o'clock massages, Kerrigan and Woods.
Go on back.
Elle starts to go, then stops.
Oh, and my friend Catherine Windham Vandermark, it's a big name, is here somewhere, and I'm supposed to meet her for a Pilates class. Do you have her schedule?
She's in the mudroom until 4.
Elle smiles her thanks and walks off with Emmett.
Thank you.
Damn, we can't even see her for an hour?
No, she can't move for an hour.
She grabs his arm and pulls him down the hall. Interior, spa, mudroom, day. Mrs. Windham Vandermark, late 40s, brunette, East Coast hoity-toity, lies on a table like a corpse, stiff with mud, cucumbers over her eyes. Elle and Emmett poke their heads in.
Mrs. Windham Vandermark?
We're here from Austin, Platt, Jarod, and Donovan.
So you found me.
She's naked.
I'm covered in a very expensive Egyptian mud, hardly naked.
I'll cover her parts.
Elle settles on 3 washcloths strategically placed.
So I hear from Tart of California shot Hayworth.
Well, that's what we're trying to prove didn't happen. Did you have any reason to believe it did?
I never met the woman, but from what my daughter tells me, she's quite the cunning.
No, she's not.
Did your daughter say anything to you about Brooke and Hayworth's relationship?
Aside from the fact that he found her on an infomercial, she said they humped like gorillas. Chutney could hear them all the way in the pool house.
I'm sure that was very awkward for Chutney, much as it is for me hearing you tell me about it.
But I guess it wasn't enough for Brooke.
Why would you say that?
Haven't you seen the Cabana Boy?
Yes.
Like I said, I never met Brooke, but I've seen her from a distance. When I come over to pick up the alimony check that Hayworth forgot to mail every month, she's out by the pool with Mr. Hot Pants hovering over her with some pink drink.
Hovering?
I didn't stick around long enough to watch him stick his swizzle stick in her mouth, but I bet the next check that's where he was about to put it.
Interior, Emmett's Volvo, day. Emmett drives, raving.
How can you still believe she's innocent?
You're not going to trust the word of a woman who named her child after a condiment. She's lying.
And you know this for a fact?
Did you see the icky black color of her hair?
So?
I never trust a woman who's not blonde, except for my friend Serena, but that's only because she's blonde at heart. That's the whole reason I'm starting the Blonde Legal Defense Fund.
The what?
Blondes are discriminated against worldwide. Brooke's a blonde, and people are saying she's sleeping with the cheesy pool boy and shooting her husband. If she was a mousy brunette, it would be, oh, the poor widow.
You're serious.
You should see the way I'm treated in class. I'm a complete source of mockery. This is why the Blonde Legal Defense Fund is needed.
Okay, how would it work?
It would be a full-service law firm by and for blondes, providing positive blonde role models and community outreach in high blonde areas. I mean, think about it. Name one blonde intellectual role model.
I can't.
That is a direct result of anti-blonde discrimination.
Wait, Hillary Clinton.
If she were a true blonde, she would have left the cheating bastard. Blondes don't let their husbands get filleted by another woman and live to tell about it.
In that case, maybe Hayworth got filleted by a brunette and Brooke caught him.
Exactly how much gorilla sex do you think a 6-year-old man can take?
Well, that's not really a topic that keeps me up at night, but maybe it should.
Speaking of that, I bought you some seaweed cream while we were at the spa.
What's that for?
The bags under your eyes. You're an attractive man, but you need to take better care of yourself.
I don't do that stuff?
Well, you should. If you look good, you feel good. And if you feel good, you project joy into the world.
They ride in silence for a moment as he thinks about this, then...
You really think I'm attractive?
For a butthead? Yes.
She smiles at him. Exterior, Harvard campus night. Elle walks down the sidewalk to her dorm, approaching Dorky David as he tries to ask out a freshman girl who thinks she's a lot cuter than she actually is. She stands with her freshman friends.
So I called your room last night.
Yes. I heard.
I was thinking maybe we could go out sometime.
No, you're a dork.
She turns back to her friends who all laugh at him. Elle winces as she passes.
I'm in law school.
The freshman girl turns back to him.
Look, I'm not going out with you. I can't believe you even asked. Girls like me don't go out with losers like you.
Her friends snicker. Elle stops at this and sighs, acknowledging to herself that she has to help this guy. She turns and marches back, slapping Dorky David across the face. Dorky David is stunned, as is the freshman girl.
Why didn't you call me?
What?
We spent a beautiful night together, and then I never hear from you again?
Elle signals with her eyes for him to go along with it.
I'm sorry?
Sorry for what? For breaking my heart or ruining sex for me with any other man?
Both?
Forget it. I've already spent too many hours crying over you.
She rushes off. Dorky David and the freshman girl and her friends watch Elle go. After a moment, the girl turns to David.
So, when do you want to go out?
Walking away, Elle hears this and smiles. Exterior courthouse day. People ascend the wide courthouse steps.
The First District Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge William R. Patak presiding.
And what was the defendant doing? Sitting next to the pool topless while a Latin boy handed her a drink.
Interior courtroom day. DA Rafferty continues her grilling.
And where was she exactly?
This time, Chutney is on the stand. Standing over my father's dead body. Interior courtroom day, clothes on a tiny Speedo thong.
Mr. Salvador, can you tell us what this is?
We pull back to reveal that the DA is holding it up as she questions Enrique.
A uniform.
This is what the uniform that Miss Windham asked you to wear while cleaning her pool?
Yes.
And are you or are you not having an affair with Brooke Windham?
Define affair.
Have you and Mrs. Windham had sexual relations?
Yes, okay, yes.
The courtroom gasps. Elle looks over at Brooke, who's shaking her head, outraged. Interior courtroom moments later. Everyone files out. As Brooke is being led away, she turns to Elle.
I am not having an affair with Enrique. You know a Delta Gamma would never sleep with a man who wears a thong. I just like watching him bend over and clean the filter.
I believe you. Don't worry.
Brooke is taken away. Interior, Elle's dorm room, night. Elle in sweats and a ponytail pours over a mammoth-sized depositions. A knock sounds.
Come in.
Sarah enters.
Are you done with that yet?
Elle hands the deposition over.
Take it. I've read it like 20 times.
She grabs another one off the stack and begins reading. Sarah lingers.
I believe her too. I don't think she's having an affair with Enrique.
Too bad you and I are the only ones.
I still can't believe you didn't tell Donovan the alibi.
It's not my alibi to tell.
I know. I thought that was very classy of you.
Really? Thanks.
Sarah starts to go, then stops.
Have you ever noticed how Donovan never asked Warner to bring him coffee? He asked me at least a dozen times.
Men are helpless. You know that.
Sarah lingers, leaning on the edge of the couch.
Warner can't even do his own laundry.
I know. He has it sent out.
Did you know he got waitlisted when he applied? His father had to make a call.
You're kidding.
A knock sounds on the open door. Marko and Serena poke their heads in.
Surprise!
Oh my God.
Sarah watches as Elle jumps up to hug the girls, who each have a bottle of Vive Clicquot in their hands.
What are you doing here?
We're on our way to the bridal show in New York, so we thought we'd rescue you from law school for the night.
We have a limo downstairs and lots of these.
She wiggles her champagne bottle.
Guys, I can't. We're in the middle of a trial.
Where's Warner?
At the office?
Marko and Serena look over at her.
Friends with the nurse girl.
Marko?
Bring her too. Come on, you can wear one of Elle's outfits.
That's okay.
Speaking of which, can you please put on some party clothes? You look like someone rolled you in something sticky and dragged you through Kmart.
Can't believe you guys are actually here. But this case is important. I'll make it up to you after finals, okay? I promise. I just really want to do a good job.
Marko and Serena stare at her, realizing she means it.
Okay. Call us if you change your mind.
They start to head out. Marko hands Sarah the bottle of champagne.
Here.
She spots the rock on Sarah's finger and grabs her hand.
Sis, talk about a rock. You must be better in bed than you look.
Elle hustles them out the door.
I'll call you as soon as it's over, okay? Sisters forever. Forever.
She shuts the door behind them, then looks at Sarah.
Sorry about that.
Sarah sets down the Veuve.
It's all right. Here. Save it. We'll drink it after we win.
Elle smiles at her. Interior Beauty Oasis Day. Paulette arranges a nail polish display by the door.
I've got a big one for you.
Paulette freezes and slowly turns to find UPS guy holding out a big package.
Can you sign?
He hands her the computerized tablet, and as he does, the pen Velcro to the side falls off. Paulette watches as it falls in slow-mo, realizing that now is the perfect time to try the bend and snap. She bends slowly, tush out, knee cocked. She grabs the pen, and as she prepares to snap back up, the UPS guy leans over to help.
Got it?
Not realizing he's leaning over, she snaps back up, clocking him in the nose with her head. He reels backwards, holding his nose, blood flowing as Paulette stares at him in horror.
Oh my God.
Interior courthouse hallway day. Elle waits in line for the water fountain, talking on her cell phone.
You broke his nose?
We intercut with Paulette as she watches UPS guy being carried out by paramedics on a gurney. The ladies at the shop flutter around him, concerned.
I'm okay.
You noticed me, Elle?
I'll be over right after the trial, okay? We're about to cross-examine Enrique. And don't worry, my friend Serena barfed on a guy during the Blair Witch Project and ended up dating him for like 3 months.
She hangs up. Enrique cuts in front of her in line for the water fountain. She glares at him, tapping her foot. He finishes getting his drink and turns, looking at her.
Don't stomp your little last season Prada shoes at me, Miss Thing.
He walks past as Elle frowns.
These aren't last season.
Suddenly she gasps, realizing. Interior courtroom day. Moments later, Elle grabs Emmett's arm as he whispers with Donovan.
He's gay! Enrique is gay!
What?
She grabs Warner as he's passing.
Warner, what kind of shoes do I have on?
He looks
Pink
down
ones.
at her Prada sandals.
Pink ones.
See?
Well, now I do. What are you talking about?
He's gay. He isn't Brooke's lover. He's making it up. Whoever killed Hayworth is paying him off.
Back up. Like, how do you know he's gay?
Gay men know designers. Straight men don't.
She points at Warner, who shrugs. Brooke leans over.
What's going on?
Enrique is gay. I'm sure of it.
He did leave a share tape in the pool house once.
Well, I appreciate your masterful legal theory. I have a murder trial to attend to.
He grabs Emmett's arms and pulls him aside as they confer on more serious matters. Emmett looks at her as if to say sorry before he looks back at Donovan. Brooke looks at Donovan, then back at Elle, rolling her eyes. Elle sits down, pissed. Emmett looks back at her one more time.
I'll take care of it.
She smiles gratefully at him. Interior courtroom, moments later, day. Donovan is in front of Enrique, who is at the stand.
Mrs. Salvador, do you have any proof that you and Mrs. Windham were having an affair?
Just the love in my heart.
Women in the audience openly sigh. Elle makes a puke gesture. Enoch concurs. Donovan smiles a smug smile.
If that's all the proof that he has, Your Honor, I think I'm done here.
Emmett stands.
I have a couple of questions, Your Honor.
Donovan glares at him.
Give me 2 minutes.
He approaches Enrique and starts firing questions at rapid speed.
Did you ever take Mrs. Windham on a date?
Yes.
Where?
A restaurant in Oakland where no one would recognize us.
And how long have you been sleeping with Mrs. Windham?
3 months.
And your boyfriend's name is?
Chuck.
The audience lets out a gasp. Elle looks up, shocked, then delighted. Enrique begins to sweat.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Chuck is just a friend.
Chuck, handsome, angry, flamboyant, stands up in the audience.
You bitch!
The courtroom erupts and the judge bangs the gavel. Elle smiles victoriously from her seat and looks at Emmett gratefully. Emmett grins back at her. Donovan shakes his head in amazement. Exterior courthouse day. Elle and Emmett walk down the stairs together in high spirits. Donovan catches up.
Good work today, Mrs. Woods.
Thank you.
He walks on. She looks at Emmett, excited. He high-fives her. Interior beauty oasis night. Paulette is closing up as Elle follows her around.
And after they set his nose, he came back for his truck and I offered to drive for him since he was still on painkillers, and we went the whole afternoon together. He was unconscious for part of it, but it was really fun.
I'm so happy for you.
How'd it go with the trial?
Great. Donovan actually said the words, "Good work, Mrs. Woods." He takes me seriously. Can you believe it?
Of course I can believe it. You're going to make a great lawyer. Elle, you've changed my life. You really are the kindest, most wonderful angel. And without you, I wouldn't have Rufus or a dinner date. And now go share your goodness with the world while I stay here and have my hoo-hoo waxed.
Interior, Austin, Jarod, Platt, and Donovan, hallway night. Elle passes Sarah, who carries a stack of depots in the conference room, to Dick and Bobby.
Donovan asked to see you before you leave.
Really?
He's already got his coffee. Maybe he needs a donut.
They share a smile as Elle walks over to Donovan's glass-walled office and knocks on the door, nervous.
Come on in.
He beckons her inside and she goes, shutting the door behind her. Interior, Donovan's office night. He's behind the desk. He motions for her to sit in one of the two chairs opposite him.
Sit down.
Is everything okay?
You followed your intuition today and you were right on target. I should have listened.
Thank you.
About the alibi.
I'm sorry, but
I'm impressed that you took the initiative to go there and get it. That's what makes a good lawyer. And on top of that, you gained the client's trust and kept it. That's what makes a great lawyer. You're smart, Ellie. Smarter than most of these guys I have on my payroll.
wow, that means so much to me to hear you say that.
Donovan walks around his desk and sits in the chair opposite her.
You think it's time to... I think it's time to discuss your career path. Have you thought about where you might be a summer associate?
Not really. I know how competitive it all is.
You know what competition is really about, don't you?
Eager for his knowledge, Elle is on the edge of her seat. He leans in.
It's about ferocity, carnage, balancing human intelligence with animal diligence, knowing exactly what you want and how far you'll go to get it. How far will Elle Woods go?
And as he says the last sentence, he slides his hand up her thigh. Outside Donovan's office, Sarah walks down the hallway, glancing in Donovan's office to see her POV. Donovan's hand sliding up Elle's skirt. She shakes her head in disgust and heads off, not seeing. Interior Donovan's office. Elle stares at Donovan in horror, then grabs his hand and stopping its journey upward.
Are you hitting on me?
You're a beautiful girl, Ellie.
It's Elle. And everything you just said?
I'm a man who knows what I want.
Elle rises, stung. She stares at him for a beat.
And I'm a law student who's finally realized her professor is a pathetic asshole.
She walks out.
Too bad, I thought you were a law student who wanted to be a lawyer.
Elle keeps walking. Interior, Austin, Jarod, Platt, etc. Elevator moments later. Elle is in the elevator, flushed and upset. As the doors start to close, Sarah sticks her arm in, blocking them.
You almost had me fooled.
What?
Maybe you should sleep with the judge too. Then we can win the case.
Sarah steps back, letting the door shut. Interior building lobby night. Elle stomps out of the elevator right past Emmett.
Hey.
I'm quitting.
Whoa, why?
Law school was a mistake. Getting this internship was a mistake.
What are you talking about? You earned it.
I didn't earn anything. I got this internship because Donovan liked the way I look, which he made clear tonight when he tried to feel me up.
Emmett looks pissed as he processes this.
Donovan did what?
I'm going back to LA. Maybe I can fulfill my destiny as a useless bimbo and join the Swedish bikini team. No more navy blue suits, no more pantyhose, no more boring stuff. No more trying to be something I'm not.
What if you're trying to be something you are? To hell with Donovan. Stay.
She stops, giving him a sad smile.
Thanks for not treating me like everybody else does. Call me if you're ever in California.
She walks out. Emmett watches her go, hating it. Exterior, beauty oasis, night. Elle's Boxster, packed with suitcases and the potted palm, pulls up. Interior, beauty oasis, night. Elle sits in front of Paulette, dejected, not even bothering with the manicure.
Oh, what's the point of staying? All people see when they look at me is blonde hair and big boobs. No one's ever going to take me seriously. The people at law school don't. Warner doesn't. I don't even think my parents take me seriously. They wanted me to grow up and become a Victoria's Secret model who marries a rock star. Now, for the first time, it seemed like someone expected me to do something better with my life than wear underwear for a living. But I was kidding myself. Donovan didn't see me as a lawyer. He just saw me as a piece of ass. Just like everyone else. It turns out I am a joke. The hell with law school. I just came to say goodbye.
On a nearby chair, Professor Elspeth Stromwell spins around, nails dry, facing Elle. If you're going to let one stupid prick ruin your life, you're not the girl I thought you were. Elle looks at her, shocked as Professor Stromwell stands and goes. Interior, jail, waiting room, night. Close on a TV, Donovan is being interviewed on the evening news.
Enrique Salvador has been discredited as a witness.
Did you go in there knowing you were going to discredit Mr. Salvador?
Absolutely. It's a little thing I like to call a strategy.
He gives the reporters a smug smile. In the waiting room, Brooke looks away from the TV. Emmett is next to her, prepping her for the following day.
Is he always such an ass?
He's top defense attorney in the state. Of course he's an ass.
But is he an ass that's going to win my case?
He's an ass that's going to try.
He thinks I'm guilty, doesn't he?
It's not what's important.
To me, it is. He doesn't trust me. Why should I trust him?
Emmett thinks for a moment, then looks at Brooke.
You're right. Why should you?
Exterior courthouse day. People enter. Reporters set up their cameras. Dorky David passes by in a suit and tie. Interior courthouse hallway day. Donovan and Emmett head into the courtroom.
That bitch away from me.
She's our client.
Not Brooke, Ellie.
Elle.
Elle.
Funny how a woman can turn into a bitch just by saying no.
Donovan glares at Emmett as they continue in. Behind them, Sarah stops in her tracks, having heard all of this. Interior courtroom, moments later, Donovan takes his seat next to Brooke. She smiles at him.
What are you so happy about? You're on trial for murder.
Get up.
What?
You're fired. I have a new representation.
Who?
The door of the courtroom bangs open and Elle strides in, dressed in a Prada mini dress, bruiser in her purse. She glides up to the defense area and sets her briefcase down next to Donovan.
Excuse you, you're in my way.
She nudges him aside. Donovan looks at Brooke.
She's a law student. She can't defend you.
Dorky David steps up, holding out a marked casebook.
Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court Rule 303.
See?
Counselors, approach the bench.
Elle starts to head up.
You're not going up there.
Oh, yes, I am.
I don't think you heard me. You're fired. She's my lawyer now. Counselors, now, all of you.
Elle, Donovan, and Emmett head up, as does the DA. Elle hands the judge the casebook.
Elle Woods, Your Honor. Rule 303 of the Supreme Judicial Court states that a law student may appear on behalf of a defendant in criminal proceedings.
I know the law.
Your Honor, I have no problem with this.
I do. I'm not allowing it.
Oh, but you agreed last night in the office when we were discussing my career.
The implication lingers in the air as Donovan glares at her.
The ruling also states that you need a licensed attorney to supervise you. Mr. Donovan?
That I won't agree to.
Emmett steps forward.
I'm supervising, Your Honor.
Elle smiles at him. Donovan looks from Emmett to Elle, completely derailed.
Well then, Miss Woods, proceed.
Elle walks back to the table with a grin. Warner looks shocked. In the audience, Paulette beams, the UPS guy in the nose brace next to her. Serena and Marko, now in attendance, stand clapping and squealing in a completely inappropriate way.
Go!
Donovan takes a seat in the audience as he passes by Brooke.
Enjoy prison.
The judge looks at Brooke.
Miss Windham, you do realize what you're doing? Absolutely.
As Donovan sits, Marko leans over.
The gamma.
At the defense table, Sarah leans forward to Elle, who gathers her notes.
Kick some butt.
Elle looks at her, surprised.
Miss Woods, call your first witness.
I'd like to recall Chutney Windham as a defense witness.
The crowd murmurs. Donovan rolls his eyes. Interior courtroom day, moments later. Chutney takes her hand off the Bible and sits.
Miss Woods, begin your questioning.
First, Your Honor, I'd like to point out that not only is there no proof in this case, but there's a complete lack of mens rea, which by definition tells us that there's no crime without a vicious will.
The DA rolls her eyes as do the lawyers present.
I am aware of the meaning of mens rea. What I am unaware of is why are you giving me a vocabulary lesson instead of questioning your witness?
Flustered, Elle turns to Chutney.
Okay. Miss Windham, when you arrived back at the house, was your father there?
Not that I saw, but like I said, I went straight upstairs to take a shower.
And when you came downstairs, what happened?
I saw Brooke standing over his body, drenched in his blood.
But Mrs. Windham didn't have a gun?
No, she'd stashed it by then.
Move to strike that from the record, Your Honor. Speculation.
Stricken.
Elle mentally kicks herself for not doing this herself. Emmett gives her a reassuring nod. She takes a deep breath, then continues on.
Did you hear a shot fired?
No, I was in the shower.
So at some point in the 20 minutes you were in the shower, your father was shot.
I guess. Elle paces a bit. Bruiser watches from her purse on the table, intrigued by her line of questioning.
Your father was shot while you were in the shower.
Jarod looks at Emmett.
Where's she going with this?
Have a little faith.
But you didn't hear the shot because you were in the shower?
Yes, I was washing my hair. Elle's onto something, but she's not sure what.
Miss Windham, can you tell us what you'd been doing earlier that day?
I got up, went to Starbucks, went to the gym, got a perm, and came home.
Where you got in the shower?
Yes.
I believe the witness has made it clear that she was in the shower.
People start to snicker. Sarah looks worried.
Yes, Your Honor. Have you ever gotten a perm before, Miss Windham?
Yes.
How many would you say?
2 a year since I was 12, but you do the math.
You know, a girl in my sorority, Tracy Marcinko, got a perm once, even though we all told her not to. Curls really weren't the right look for her. She didn't have your bone structure. But thankfully, that same day, she entered the pie cap wet t-shirt contest, where she was completely hosed down from head to toe.
Donovan shakes his head at her incompetence.
Objection. Why is this relevant?
Oh, I have a point, Your Honor, I promise.
Then make it.
Elle looks at Chutney.
Chutney, why is it that Tracy Marcinko's curls were ruined when she got hosed down?
Because they got wet?
That's right. Because isn't the first cardinal rule of perm maintenance that you are forbidden to wet your hair for at least 24 hours after getting a perm at the risk of deactivating the ammonium thioglycate?
Yes.
And wouldn't someone who's had, say, 30 perms throughout her lifetime be well aware of this?
Chutney doesn't answer. She just stares, her mouth agape.
And if you, in fact, were not washing your hair, as I suspect you were not, since your curls are still intact, wouldn't you have heard the gunshot?
Chutney continues to stare angrily now.
And if you, in fact, heard the gunshot, then Brooke Windham wouldn't have had time to hide the gun before you got downstairs, which would mean that you would have to have found Mrs. Windham with a gun in her hand to make your story sound plausible. Isn't that right?
She's younger than I am. Did she tell you that? How would you feel if your father married someone who was younger than you?
You, however, had time to hide the gun, didn't you, Chutney, after you shot your father?
I didn't mean to shoot him. I thought it was you walking through the door. Pandemonium erupts. The gavel pounds.
Holy shit.
Elle looks at Emmett, elated at what's just happened.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Interior courthouse foyer day. Reporters mob Elle and Brooke as they make their way out of the courtroom.
Oh, how did you know Jordan was lying?
She's brilliant.
The rules of hair care are simple and finite. Any Cosmo girl would have known.
The reporters laugh as they snap pictures of her and a happy Brooke. Interior Woods Bel Air home, gym, same time. Close on the TV, the channels change. Golf and a commercial. Elle in the courthouse.
What the?
Daniel, Elle's father, watches TV as he does his morning workout on the treadmill.
Honey, stop. Elle's on TV.
He looks next to him where Sapphire is upside down on a yoga inversion machine. Sapphire's POV, the upside down television with Elle on it. Oh my God! What happened to her tan? Interior courthouse foyer moments later. As the reporters continue to mob Brooke, Elle steps aside to talk to Serena and Marko.
I wish we could stay longer, but I have game.
I can't believe you're a Laker girl.
Hello, you're like a lawyer.
Well, not yet.
Enid walks up to the girls. Even though you knew your shit today, you're still a product of the patriarchy and a creation of the male-dominated media. And so are your friends. She looks at Serena. Although, you're kind of hot. Call me. She walks off. Serena looks alarmed.
Don't worry, she's harmless. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for coming.
She air kisses them as Marko leads a still shell-shocked Serena away. Exterior courthouse steps days later. Elle looks at the courthouse as the sun sets behind it. She smiles, proud of herself.
You were amazing today.
She turns and finds Warner.
Thank you.
He moves closer.
It made me realize something. I'm an idiot.
Really?
He turns on the charm.
I want to be with you, Elle. Forever.
He pulls her hand up to his lips to kiss it.
Oh, Warner, I want to be with you too.
She steps away from him, removing her hand from his.
In court, on opposite sides.
Are you serious?
Huh, imagine that. Looks like I am.
She walks down the steps. Warner watches her go, then turns to see Sarah, who's witnessed the entire episode. She glares at him, then walks past.
Sarah, hold on.
She shoves him, knocking him on his ass, then rushes to catch up with Elle.
Elle, wait up.
Elle turns.
I'm a bitch.
Yes, you are.
And Donovan's a scumbag for coming on to you.
Yes, he is.
They look at each other in a silent truce.
So, can we drink that champagne when I get back from the pawn shop?
She pulls off her engagement ring.
You're pawning the rock?
Hell yeah. We've got finals to study for. In Jamaica.
She smiles and heads off. Elle smiles, processing this as Emmett approaches her.
You up for a celebration dinner?
Are you asking me on a date?
As long as you realize I'm not just some man toy you can show off like a trophy.
Then forget it. Besides, I have an early class tomorrow.
So Friday at 8?
She smiles at him.
Perfect.
She heads down the stairs, stops and thanks a moment, then runs back up, grabbing Emmett in a hellacious kiss. He kisses her back. We crane up as they embrace on the courthouse steps. Interior, Harvard Law Auditorium. Congratulations, law students, class of 2004 banners hang over a stage, while guests and students in graduation hats and gowns look on screen 2 years later. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the graduating class of Harvard Law School, class of 2004. The audience claps as the camera shows Stromwell standing at a podium in front of the stage. I am personally very honored to present to you this year's class elected speaker. After getting off to quite an interesting start here at Harvard, she graduates today with an invitation to join one of Boston's most prestigious law firms. I'm sure we're going to see great things from her. Ladies and gentlemen, Elle Woods. The audience claps as Elle smiles and approaches the front of the stage. She embraces Professor Stromwell as she takes her place at the podium.
On our first day at Harvard, a very wise professor quoted Aristotle. The law is reason free from passion. Well, no offense to Aristotle, but in my 3 years at Harvard, I have come to find that passion is the key ingredient to the study and practice of law and of life. It is with passion, courage of conviction, and strong sense of self that we take our next steps into the world, remembering that first impressions are not always correct. You must always have faith in people. And most importantly, you must always have faith in yourself. Congratulations, class of 2004.
The audience cheers and gives her a standing ovation. Perfect Day by Haku plays while we intercut to Elle's parents, her mother clapping emotionally and her father holding a martini and a cheers. Sarah smiling broadly at Elle while the writing on screen reads, Sarah dumped Warner. She and Elle are now best friends. Warner clapping unenthusiastically, writing on screen reads, Warner graduated without honors, without a girlfriend, and without any job offers. Paulette and the UPS guy clapping and looking at each other blissfully. On screen writing reads, Paulette married the UPS guy. They are expecting their first child, a daughter, to be named Elle. Emmett clapping as he looks at Elle lovingly. Writing on screen reads, Emmett quit Donovan's firm and opened his own practice. He and Elle have been dating for the past 2 years. Elle smiling at Emmett before turning back to the audience of her fellow graduates and throwing her hat into the air. The rest of them follow suit. Back to Emmett as the on-screen writing reads, Emmett is proposing to Elle tonight. On Elle, who smiles and looks to the sky as though looking toward the bright possibilities of the future. Fade out.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this perfect read. And we'll see you next time.